Hey, what's going on, guys? Devin here with Backcountry Exposure. As always, super excited to share this discussion and my opinion of how I choose what gear I take backpacking. Now, this is very much my personal opinion. This has everything to do with how I personally choose what I'm going to take backpacking. If you follow the channel, you know that I've got a lot of gear, and I love gear. I'm an absolute gearhead. But I want to talk about this because I think it's important as a perspective to understand why having multiple gear options is really important. At least it is for me. Now, I like to do 3.5 season backpacking. I don't love like strapping on snowshoes and heading out into the freezing cold, but I will go down to the desert where there is no snow and spend time in the cold. But that brings up the point of how I choose what I take backpacking is location, location, season. See what I did there? But location, location, season, meaning that I choose what I'm going to take based on where I'm going and the season of when I'm going out. Now, why that's important is because if it's really, really cold outside and I don't have the option to take only a 40-degree bag, meaning that it's going to be like 10 degrees where I'm going, then having a 40-degree bag as my only sleeping bag option is not really a great thing to have in my backpacking system. So having multiple gear items and just a lot of options gives me the ability to go to various different locations and to be out during different seasons. That's really important for me. The next aspect that I consider when I'm choosing what gear to take is how long am I going to be going out, and am I going to be sharing any gear with other people in my group? Sometimes I like to share various gear items so that I'm not carrying more than necessary in my backpacking system for that particular trip. So how long am I going out? That's going to determine what type of gear I take with me, what I choose to leave behind, what I choose to take as luxury items, as well as am I going to be carrying group gear, and do I need to make space for those items so that I carry a different backpack, a larger backpack, because I'm carrying group gear that takes up a little bit more space than my personal gear. That is a very real thing that I do very often in my backpacking trips. And so a 48-liter pack like this one may be more advantageous for a weekend trip if we're doing some more type of luxury backpacking so that I can carry the gear that I need, as opposed to taking like my 36-liter Waymark pack that is really advantageous for just going super lightweight. That leads into the next point that I want to talk about of how I choose is how light do I want to go for a particular trip. For the most part, most of my trips are within the lightweight realm of backpacking, meaning that I am within 9 to 12 pounds of base weight, depending on how long I'm going out, what I choose to take with me as far as cook gear more than anything, and just how light do I really want to go. So that is an important question that I ask myself when I go out is, do I really want to take a chair with me this time? And if I'm willing to carry that extra weight, then absolutely, I'm going to carry the chair, because I've made the decision that this is not one of those trips where I have to go with only 9 pounds or only 8 pounds. Like, no, I'm going to carry 12 pounds. I'm going to enjoy it and be a little bit more comfortable. There's nothing wrong with that. But I do think about that every single time I go out. Like, how light do I really want my pack to be? And I make gear choices based off of that and try to make sure that those choices fit within the weight range that I'm trying to accomplish. Now, the last thing that I consider when I'm choosing the gear that I want to take out for a particular trip is what gear can I not use in the area that I'm going? Specifically, and I've talked about this many times in various videos, I'm not going to take a hammock into the desert because there's just not good places to hang a hammock. And for the most part here in Utah, juniper trees are the vast majority of the trees that are in the desert. And they are just not ideal for setting up a hammock. And so I always choose a tent every single time I am going to go to the desert, or a tarp, something like that, that I'm sleeping on the ground. If there is a place that I'm going that doesn't allow like fires, for example, then I'm not going to choose to take a wood burning stove to cook my food on. And I'll probably not choose to take an alcohol stove because I can be a little bit more confident in a butane stove than the other options. And so you really have to think about, am I going to be able to take the pieces of gear that I have to the particular area that I'm visiting? There are restrictions in places, and so you have to really think about that. But that's essentially how I choose, and the things that go through my head when I am choosing what gear I want to take backpacking. I'm curious to know what you guys do to be able to choose and decide what gear you want to take on your backpacking trips. And please share down in the comments anything that you would like to on the topic. Love the dialogue and the discussion about this. Really appreciate you watching, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button. If you would like to support me in other ways on my channel than just watching and subscribing, please consider donating and supporting me on Patreon, where you can participate in semi-annual giveaways, as well as get a Backcountry Exposure sticker, or you can just donate like $1, and would be really appreciated if you guys would consider supporting me in that way. But as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll catch you on the next one.